सुन लो सुनाए कहानी एक किरदार की ही जुबानी, उलझी सुलझी है ये हर घड़ी। पल है कुछ से रुमानी, पल है कुछ से दीवानी, बहका बहका सा है हर कोई। कैसे फिर बतलाए क्या है ये फुलझड़ी, कैसे फिर सुलझाए उलझी हुई हर कड़ी। तो आओ फिर सुन लो यहाँ the story of a PhD, philosophical drama, 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 a PhD. जिंदगी कैसी है पहेली हाय, कभी ये हंसाए कभी ये रुलाए। जिंदगी कैसी है पहेली हाय, कभी ये हंसाए कभी ये रुलाए जिंदगी। So that's how life is, right? कभी हंसाती है कभी रुलाती है, और इस सब के बीच we keep living our stories. Hello everyone, this is Sukanya and I'm here with a brand new episode of PhD, the philosophical drama. First of all, I would like to thank you all for showing so much of love to our show, and it has given me and also my friend Amug a lot of motivation, not only to carry on our show but also in our personal lives. So thank you very much for that. Thank you all for joining today. So today we have a very special guest. So first of all, she's a very close friend of mine and one of my favorite seniors. She's a graduate student in the biological science department in IISER Pune, and she mainly focuses, her work mainly focuses on Drosophila genetics and mainly in neurodegeneration. और apart from academics, सबसे interesting चीज़ है कि she is a brilliant actor and also a great dancer and above all a wonderful person. So without much ado, Shweta, can I have you on live?
Hello.
Hello. Hi
Can you
Shweta,
hear me?
how are you?
Hi, Sukanya.
Hi Sukanya. So thank you for taking out time for coming live with me on this show, and you must be really busy that your defense is coming up, but इसके बीच में भी तुमने time निकाला. Thank you so much for that. So my first question is, how did you decide that you wanted to do a PhD?
So I think it eventually came to me. So basically, how it happened was I did my BSc in biotech, and there were a lot of professors and teachers who were really encouraging to me for they asked me to get into fundamental sciences, and the beauty of fundamental sciences was introduced to me quite early. So that is how I started my bachelor's. I did not start
That is
like kal karte hai ya let's try it. Then I
so that
had
is very
really good
unique.
teachers.
I think that's very unique because like most of us are like pushed into engineering or medicine, and that you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
like inspired to do science. That's really good. Yeah.
No, so yeah, I was. I mean, a lot of people tried to convince me, not my parents, to get into engineering or other applied sciences. But I think uh, I think it was clear to me by the time after you give entrances and you are done with all of it. You know somewhere that, I mean,
Yeah.
I knew somewhere that I wanted to pursue fundamental sciences. So that's how I got into BSc. Then I actually had not only in my bachelor's but also in my master's, I had very good set of professors who
Okay.
were again, like how I said, that people were really encouraging me to follow basic sciences. These professors and teachers were again really encouraging in BSc as well as in MSc. And all these people were, some of them had done their PhDs and they knew the pros and cons of it. And so it was like, imprinted in me, कि, okay, PhD करनी चाहिए. But then again, after my master's, I was still not sure. So I took a break of a year
Okay.
and I taught in colleges during that
Okay.
time. And I took that break intentionally, thinking that, okay, let's see if I'm actually cut out for research, because it's a very huge commitment of many years. And you should actually, I feel that I should have been ready for it. I mean, I again shouldn't jump into something which I'm not sure I should do. So then I taught for a year. I educated myself a lot. And while teaching, I was actually, doing a lot of, I was handling experimental things because I was a biochemist and that college did not have a biochemistry teacher. When I went in, they just asked me to handle a whole, set of biochemistry experiments for third year BSc students, and I actually did not know how to do that. So I started that right from troubleshooting till the end, and till actually the exams, which is actually there were two sets of exams, and I remember one set, it was the invertase assay. One set the results came out really well, and the second set they did not, which is of course on me and not because the students did it wrong. So I think during this whole process, I realized that okay, this is fun. Troubleshooting is fun. Doing experiments is fun. Learning things
Yeah.
from the scratch is fun, and building things from the scratch is fun. So I think by the end of that, I had realized that I should do a PhD, and yeah, then I applied. I gave interviews, and then I got through.
Nice. So that's really good. Like at that age, so हम लोगों का जो tendency रहता है that we tend to rush into it and we don't even try to understand whether we want to do it or not, because as you said, it's a
Yeah.
very long commitment. So that was really like matured from your, like on your part at that age to take your time, decide, and like go for a
Yeah.
PhD. So yeah. So then, now that you knew that you wanted to do a PhD, how did you land up in the field or in the lab that you are in now?
So I was interested in neuro. So neuro,
Hmm.
not the signaling kind of neuro, but the
हाँ.
cell biology, neuronal cell biology kind of neuro.
अच्छा.
And when I got in ICER, I had also gotten into other institutes, but again, by the kind of feedback that I got about the institute, people were like, despite of whatever lab you get in, I think ICER is a good institute. ICER Pune is a better institute because there are young scientists and it's newly coming up, and all of many of these reasons. So then I wanted to do neuro, and none of the neuro labs were open actually. So
Okay.
computation I did not want to do, only the computation labs were open. And so the kind of labs that I rotated were not mainstream neuro based labs,
Okay.
but I came to know about this project, which was in Girish's lab. That's where I work. About which was about neurodegeneration, and it was like you introduced before. It is basically Drosophila genetics. It's not much neuro.
Hmm.
And when I discussed it with Girish, he was like, "Okay, I'm not a neurobiologist. Okay, so this is not a neuro project." Um So I said, okay, fine. And I was interested in something which was, more uh, astrocytes, glial cell biology based, or, more neuro based. So there was a senior who had just started something for time pass, like a side project. And I said, fine. So, and my SOP for most of the places was actually based on what he was doing. So then I was like, okay, let me join this lab and let's try. And the good thing was that Girish was open to, ideas. So he was like, you can do
Yeah.
whatever you want, but it has to be under the scope of the lab. So then that is what I saw, and I saw that there is freedom, and I can actually do things which I would want to experimentally, and that is how I joined the lab. And then eventually from Drosophila genetics, it turned out to be a like turned into more a neuro-based project. Yeah,
Right.
so I would call it neurogenetics and not
Nice. Yeah.
neurobiology, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's really interesting, and I know Girish as a person. He's very flexible, and he probably gave you a lot of freedom. So that might be like, but then like joining a so as far as I assume, I mean, ICER PhD was a bit new at that time when you joined, right? थोड़ा सा मतलब it was not like a very like old institute. It was like in the formation.
Yeah,
So, and
initially
also
yes.
joining, yeah, and also since you were very clear about what you wanted to do, so did you have insecurities regarding not getting exactly what you wanted? And did you have some, like in your initial days, did you have some insecurities? And if you did, how did you deal with it?
Actually, I did not have insecurities. So
Okay.
when I saw that, like I told you, most of the neuro labs were closed, and my master's
Yeah.
project was actually very protein biochemistry based. It had nothing to do with
Yeah.
neuro or even genetics.
It's very different.
So I had made up my mind of, okay, PhD protein biochemistry में कर लेते हैं. It's fine.
हाँ.
Because
हाँ.
uh, something else that I knew or I had learned from people who were doing PhD, because at the place that I did my masters, there were a lot of students who were, they were pursuing PhDs. And
Hmm.
a lot of PIs were actually, I mean, having a lot of students, and many
हाँ.
established labs like we do at ISER. So, looking at that, what I had understood is that despite of whatever topic you have for your PhD, uh, it depends. It is more important to pick up the tools than the topic or the subject. So the more you learn about these things, it's the your spectrum is widened that way.
Right.
And that is one thing. Second thing which I learned during the course of my PhD is I was talking to this uh, professor who had come from outside, and I was telling that I am a neurobiologist or a neurogeneticist, like I said. So he was like, no, no, you are a PhD student, you are a scientist. So
Right.
you have to learn everything from the whole spectrum of science. You cannot be concentrated or focused on a
Hmm.
particular aspect of it. That is not how you
Right.
should see yourself as a PhD student. I am a developmental biologist, is what he said, because of course now he is
Yeah.
concentrating on developmental biology. So that is again, it was a really nice perspective. And apart from that, if you see, since we have shared lab systems and many different kind of labs, there are so many talks happening. You just go and sit in any talk and you understand it, like, right? And
Yeah.
you are also have the potential of discussing that science. So basically you are for science. It's not like something which is very focused
Right.
neurobiology or protein biochemistry based thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as PhD students, we tend to become very biased and very closed in our heads
Narrowed
to what we
down.
are doing. So that's really good. That's a very nice piece of advice to give to a budding graduate student that keep your head open.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. So,
No,
huh,
so like on that note, I have always thought of attending, a math talk or a physics talk, but I have never had the courage to actually do that because I feel that I will not understand it at all.
hmm,
But if people can actually do that, it would be really great because
right,
you don't know where you go and you pick up ideas or understand something. It's
right,
always nice to, discuss interdisciplinary science or even science which the, next door lab is doing. So yes, attending talks is very important. Random talks.
yeah. So when you started off your PhD, you must have had some hiccups. So do you want to share some stories that, like, if there's something interesting that happened, something funny that happened in lab, did you mess up in
Uh,
some way, and how did you sort it out back?
so there was this funny incident that happened. So, as I told you, after my master's, I had taken a
Huh,
year gap. Okay.
huh,
And before actually teaching in the colleges, I had applied to a project assistant position at IISER Pune.
right,
And that
okay,
project assistant position was actually the project that I'm doing. It was
right,
for that. And
yeah,
so Girish had, he took my interview and all the interview was fine. And I did not get selected. So,
okay,
okay. So then I did not know the reason why I did not get selected, but that's okay. So I went back to my life and then I taught in colleges. And then I came back to IISER after a year. So then I joined Girish's lab. But Girish did not remember that I had actually,
oh,
given a project assistant
that
interview
interview,
for the same project.
right,
And I knew, but then I did not want to tell him because then अगर मेरा impression अच्छा नहीं था suppose in that interview, then I don't want to affect that and then risk not getting into this lab and then working on this
hmm,
project. So I hadn't told him about it. So I think 2 weeks into the lab and he calls me. I thought he called me for some project discussion. So I went and he was like, okay. So I was going through my laptop and I found Shweta Tendulkar SOP.
hmm,
And this is something related to something I don't think I have asked you to write. So I was like, yeah, this is the project assistant interview that I gave a year ago. He's like, oh, so I took your interview? He was like, I was like, yeah, yeah. Okay, why don't I remember this? What did you do wrong? Why did I not select you? I was like, I don't know.
wow,
So then he was a little guilty. Then he started coming up with reasons, saying that maybe because I wanted a localite, which he actually did. He did hire a person who was not staying in the hostel.
right,
Then or maybe some other reason he gave me. I don't remember that now. But and then now he remembers that I had this 1 year gap and. So
right.
whenever this topic comes up, he's like, yes, I remember that 1 year gap you have after your masters. Yeah, when you had come here for giving your project assistant interview. So this is something funny that happened, but yeah,
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, with Girish, I'm sure it must be like, because he's a very funny person with a very good sense of humor. So he comes up with very bad jokes at times because I have attended
yeah,
his classes. But how
yes.
how was he as a supervisor? I mean, how like on an emotional level or a mental level, how not as a supervisor, but how was he as a guide to you, and how was your experience?
The experience has been really good. So I don't think that I can expect a better PI.
Right.
That good. But I mean, also like emotional level wise, he's always been accommodating. about any personal issues you have or any problems you have. So that way it has always been good actually. So there has not been any issue with respect to that. Uh, but the thing about driving projects has always been, since he's very, a person who gives a lot of freedom to you and asks you to explore,
Exactly.
he never really micromanages you. So
Okay.
you're on your own basically. You have to look at literature. Not like he does not contribute. If you go and discuss with him,
Hmm.
he always has his own point of views and he will ask you to do things. But I think it all worked in my favor because I wanted a lab which had a lot of freedom, and
Right.
yeah, that is how it has been. Like also with his quirky or witty attitude, I
Yeah.
think I have had real blast in the lab.
But with a lot of freedom comes a lot of responsibility again because uh,
Yeah, so
you
that's
have
what I
to
said,
be,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
that is
so,
the only. It's not a
hmm,
downside, I would say. But
yeah.
if a student wants to be with a PI who wants to tell him कि इसमें इतना microliter ये जाना चाहिए, so that is not him.
No,
But
yeah,
that is a style again. So there are different
yeah.
people, different kind of bosses. He's this kind who gives a lot of freedom. Yeah.
So suppose you have a bad day. So how did you cope with it?
Depends. So if I have a bad day right from the
In lab?
morning, then
No,
yeah, yeah, in the
no,
lab,
in
of
lab.
course.
So what do you do? What do you do to like get your head straight and come back to lab the next day with the same enthusiasm?
So if I know that I'm having a bad day right from the morning, I think I will just leave the lab because then none of the other results are going to be fine. So I'll just go sit in my room if or else go out, anything. If there is a result which, so I have done many things. I have gotten results at 9 p.m. which were negative or which were not as I had expected, and left everything in the lab and have caught up on a 11:30 p.m. movie and then come back the next day to the lab just fine, and then getting back to
Wow.
the same experiment. uh, Versus I have also gone like real back really early, which is like right after lunch, and have preferred no human contact, sat and done something which I really like watching something, binge watching a series that I like, or writing something, or talking to someone, anything. Like it depends on what kind of problem and how much bad a day I am having.
Right. That's really good to like find out your way and recharge yourself so that you can come back
Yeah,
again
yeah.
and
No,
start.
also I think company matters, right? In such cases. So I
Hmm.
have had a lot of very close friends, I think. Uh, and all of these have been like, there have been a few from my lab, a few from my batch, few from, say, theater and drama club.
Right.
And because of that, I think that is the reason I have had these different choices or options of relieving my stress. So each time, whoever is free, or if I'm actually doing a drama or we are doing rehearsals at that time,
Hmm.
I'm going to be at the drama rehearsal at 10:30 p.m. and then I'm going to forget everything about the lab. So that is something which is going to
Right.
recharge me. But if
Hmm.
a theatrical practice is not going on at that time, then I will choose to go for dinner with my friends or have chai with my lab mates. Any of these. So
Yeah.
yes.
So now that you spoke about theater, I'm very tempted to ask you. So how did you explore that you want, or maybe how did you discover that you want, that you were an actor? Because now I know that you are a brilliant actor. So was it through your PhD or Did you act before or?
No, no, no. I did not act before. I mean, I
Okay.
acted in like school plays or college
Hmm.
plays, not on a theater level or not on
Right.
such a serious level that we do over here. I think
Yeah.
in my second year of PhD, one of my friends told me that was a second C minor, I think. So
Okay.
he was like ऑडिशन देते वैसे भी तू लैब में इतनी नौटंकी करती है तो स्टेज पे कर ले थोड़ी सी आई वाज लाइक ओके so then I went for the audition and that's how I started and I was not serious at that time but it actually got very interesting and I think it has made me into a different person. So I would never want to leave it, and it has become like a good part of my life.
Yeah,
So it was
it's
never
a great
intentional.
thing. Yeah, it's a great thing to like recognize that you are talented, like through in a very different juncture of your life. Recognize and identify with it, and like understand that this is your hobby. So, like, how important do you think is having a hobby important for a graduate student? Apart from academics.
I think it is very important. Uh, because it is something like I told you, if I had a practice at 10:30 p.m., I would go there and I would forget all the stress from the lab. So which
Right.
basically means that it would recharge me, and then the next day I would come back and do the same experiment. So whatever hobby you have, I mean, it does not have to be something which is
Yeah.
outdoor related. It can be reading novels or painting or any kind of indoor thing. But I think there is like uh, real necessity of these things and it does give you a different perspective. You look up to it, every day, and you're like, okay, so you'll plan your day accordingly, and you will be like, okay, i have to
Right.
be i have to be at the practice at 10 p.m. So then I will do this experiment till 2 p.m. and then I will finish this other experiment till 4 p.m. and then I will have dinner at this time and then I will have, you really look up to these things and that way your days are really exciting even if the day is dull or even if things are not going good in the lab you are still excited. So yes, it is really essential to have a hobby or these kind of things which will help you relieve stress.
Right. So yeah, it's very important to understand this. And the other thing is like, which I have also like faced a lot when I started off my PhD, is like we tend to like ignore our health, have like very long experiments, long schedule in lab, and then forget meals or skip meals and not be physically active or things like that. So have you faced like, did you also have like some at some point when you had trouble uh, finding out a me time or giving importance to your health, and how important do you think is, now that you are at the fag end of your PhD, how important do you think it is to focus on your health and your mental, both physical and mental health?
I think your mental as well as your physical health comes first. I think everything comes next because
Huh.
this is, only a stretch of 6 to 7 years and
Hmm.
it is going to pass. And then maybe you'll do a postdoc where again you will have a stressful life, or you'll get a job, or you'll do something else and you will always have a stressful life. But to deal with it, you have to be fine mentally and physically both and it is very essential to look after these things. Uh, I mean, not just mental health but also physical health because I know there is a people have started realizing that mental health is important, but I have also seen that people neglect their physical health. There is, let's say, you have a sprain in your ankle or something. People will be just like, ठीक है चलना next हफ्ते तक हो जाएगा ठीक, and then they'll just wrap a crepe bandage around and then work in the lab. But then what if it aggravates and then it stays with you throughout your life, which is not a good thing. So you
Yeah.
have to take care of your mental as well as your physical health. PhD, though, you'll get it in some years, but something which is lost because of that is not going to come back.
Yeah, yeah, right. I think all of us, like all the students who are doing like have started off with their PhD, I think it's very important. So you used to dance, right? You used to dance, and then how was it? How did that help you? Like,
So, dance has been. I was trained as a Bharatnatyam dancer from my senior KG.
hmm,
Um, and then somewhere in the middle in the school, I left. And then
okay,
I actually did not realize that I was interested in dance. But then
hmm,
I always participated in, all of these school activities or college activities, which were dance related. And then when I started my master's, in my second year, we had this annual function during which I actually realized that I have real passion for it. But then at that time,
hmm,
I did not really have a lot of time to uh, concentrate on it or attend classes. So then when I started my PhD, uh, as also for purposes, I joined Zumba
hmm,
initially.
yeah,
And then after that, maybe a couple of years later, I joined this other class, which was very close by. They were teaching Bollywood, hip hop, jazz, contemporary, all of these mixed dance forms. So this is how my journey with dance has been. It has been on and off, but if you ask me or if you give me a choice between dance and theater, I think choose dance first and then theater.
okay. But then you have always been a performer, right? Through all of this, be
Yeah.
it dance or
No, but
theater.
see, it's like for me, dancing is like I don't mind going on stage and dancing. Uh, I don't
Hmm.
care about if someone is staring at me or
Right.
I don't have that pressure. With theater, I still have that. Maybe because it's new to me, or
Okay.
yeah, it will take some years maybe. But that is why I'm saying that I like dance more than theater.
So performing has given you an edge for like presenting or talking to a big audience, right? I think it always does. Like,
Yeah,
suppose,
yes.
yeah. So that is really good. And so you have traveled also for conferences, and I think you went abroad, right? Once for
Yes, I
conferences.
went to CSHL last year. CSHL, it's Cold Spring Harbor meeting, lab meetings. It's in the US. That's where I went. It was this Drosophila neurobiology conference. And yeah, it was in October last year.
So the how important do you think these are, like both in terms of like, so when we go for attending conferences, it's also like a bit of a break that from lab, and it gives you a chance to travel, and at the same time it gives you a lot of exposure. How has it been for you?
Yeah, so like you said, there are two aspects of this. One is travel. So
Yeah.
you see new places, you visit new places, and second is interaction with a completely different audience. So travel, yes, I think through conferences, I have traveled a lot of parts of India, and I have a lot of friends also in different institutes. So because of conferences, I actually meet them, because otherwise it's not possible. So that has been like a boon for me, and I have explored a lot of places because of that. And secondly, interacting with people, yes, it's very difficult to, break the ice with an audience which you do not know, or you do not know why a person is coming to your poster or your talk, and what kind of question that person will have, because every person has a different perspective and
Yeah,
suggestions to your work. So that has been a really novel experience, because it's like, testing other waters. You realize that, okay, uh, ICER is not just a place where you don't really realize what is going on in the same field that you're working outside your the place that you're working in. So that is something which sort of gives you a reality check about how people perceive your work. And yes, that is a really good aspect of a PhD, and it is very essential to discuss your work with people
yeah,
who are slightly related to your background or even not related to your background.
right, right. So now that you have traveled, you have faced all the ups and downs of a PhD, and as you were saying that it has changed you. So how exactly has it, मतलब कैसे तुम्हें help करा है to evolve as a person, or how has it changed you in general?
Ah, I think in general, I think I'm open to more open to new ideas,
Okay.
uh, more open to adjustment. Uh, I think something that I realize is, someone like a strange person coming to your poster and telling you, oh, this is really great work. It makes your day. So
Yeah.
I know that this is something which is very important. Encouraging someone else, or
Hmm.
congratulating someone for their paper, or not just that, having empathy for uh, a lab mate or a person from the other lab. I think these things I have learned from all of this experience of traveling and interacting with people.
Yeah.
Uh, Definitely this.
So now that you have a scientific temper, you have been having it for a long time, but I think it has like enhanced through your PhD. So how important is it to have one in the present day scenario?
Scientific temper, I think everyone should have. I mean, it's not necessary that if you're a PhD
Right.
student, you should have a scientific
हाँ.
temper. But then, unfortunately, I think somewhere where our education system lacks behind is that it's not taught well in the schools, or people do not know how to talk about it. So like, for example, why outreach is necessary, why
Hmm.
like, let's just take example of the COVID situation. People were not really aware of how to handle it. Neither the government nor the scientists. So
Hmm.
having a scientific temper, understanding very basic of a little basic about what happens in science, or what is fundamental science, or how is it that we can apply it to our life. I think that is something which is very essential and very important.
Yeah. And especially like in today's world, it becomes very important, be it you are a scientist or a non-science person. So I think we as scientists should always try to like propagate that.
Yes.
As whatever we learn from our lab, we can just implement it in our lives and help people understand better and have a scientific outlook. So that leads me to another question, which I have been very curious. So now that there are more women coming into science and more women being recognized internationally in science. But sadly, मतलब तुम्हें पता होगा, in our country there is still a lot of stigma associated with it. So being a women scientist, so how do you think that we should get? Do you think it's important to get more women in our society into science? And if so, how would you suggest that we should get over this stigma?
Yes, it is essential to get more women. I mean, undoubtedly,
Yeah.
not just in academia, but also in other fields. I mean, what I mean is that we have to encourage women to you know uh, study more or uh, follow their dreams. And to answer your the second part of your question, how can we do it? I think again, outreach is something which is very important in this kind of a scenario, and it is very essential for people like us, or it is a duty of people like us to educate others about why is it important to be a part of this society. uh, when I say this society, I mean academia. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think encouragement is something which is essential, and educating people about it is something which might start solving the issue, but it will take a long time. It's not a very straightforward problem, as I
Yeah.
mean, you know it. It's not such a straightforward problem to address.
Uh, yeah, because it's very, very, very deep rooted in our society. So it will take time to, but it's always good to be hopeful and try our best in our own little ways, जितना हो सके,
Yeah.
कि more we get more women in science and more women to get educated. And so my last question to you is now, how now that you're again you're at the fag end of your PhD, how do you define your story of PhD? And अगर तुम्हें कोई आके पूछता है कि करूँ PhD ना करूँ PhD, तुम क्या बोलती हो? So what is your definition of a PhD?
My PhD, if you ask, I think in one word, I think roller coaster. Uh, But if someone comes and asks me, कि करूँ या नहीं PhDs, to that I will be like, that's your decision. I mean, if you're really passionate about it, and if you think that, yes, this is it, this is what I want to do, then of course you should do a PhD. But again, there are other things you have to consider. Consider things that, are you ready to invest so many years? Uh, Consider that you are going to face a lot of challenges. I mean, of course there are going to be challenges in other fields as well, but PhD is something where you have to come to lab at 10 p.m. at night to inoculate culture or doing something. So you have to be more invested in that work. So are you ready to do that? And again, if someone says, I want to try, I wouldn't discourage that person. I mean, of course you can try. Maybe you will realize it, 6 months into your program, that you are not meant for it. So it's fine to quit also. It's fine to quit at any point. I think something which is very important is, if you think that you are happy, and an answer to a question is, if not this, then what? If you
Yeah.
think that you are really 30% I think I should do PhD, and 70% I think I should do something else, then don't do a PhD. I mean, you have your answer right there. But then
Yeah.
if you, yeah, so then you always have an answer to this question. You just want someone else to tell you that,
Validate it for
okay,
you.
yes, exactly. that okay, I believe in you, so you should do a PhD. That is not how it works. If you believe in yourself for whatever you want to pursue, I think you should pursue that. That is what my advice would be.
Yeah, I think we all should learn from your story that we should take our time. We should maybe pause, wait, take our time,
Yeah.
realize whether we want to do it, and then delve into the ocean, not just go for it because somebody pushed you from behind.
Yeah, no, I think also taking breaks is, I wouldn't say it's wrong. So the problem
Yeah,
that happens is some people think that okay, I will lose one whole year in this. If I take a break, I will lose a whole year, and it's fine to lose a whole year because let's say average lifespan of a human being is what 75, 80 years. I
yeah.
don't know now,
Now the
but
life expectancy has increased. It's more.
has increased. So then if you're 85 and if you think about, when I was 23, I did not take that 1 year break. Will it matter? It won't matter.
Exactly.
You will only think that okay, you know what I think about my 1 year break. I'm like, I read a lot of books. I taught in two colleges. I had a really nice time with my family, and then I realized that I want to do a PhD. So it was all fine. It will all be fine. You don't have to stress yourself saying that नहीं मैंने अगर अभी MSc के बाद तुरंत बाद PhD नहीं की तो मुझे chance नहीं मिलेगा. That is not how it works. Take some time. Think about it. Think about your decision and then get into it.
Yeah, I think we all realized it this year because I think all of us, most of us, got this break and we all like took a pause. And I think all of us realized the importance of it. Uh,
Yeah.
that you need to sometimes just like wait and just see what's going all around you and then maybe again start.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really important. So yeah. So thank you so much, Shweta, for sharing your story and your insights. It was really nice. I mean, I also wanted to ask you all of these questions. Maybe we have a too much of an informal chat to maybe delve into these topics, but it was really informative. And me being somewhere in the middle of my PhD, I think it gives me a lot of good vibes and a lot of positive energy and a lot of good advice. So thank you very much for it. And you have your defense coming up, so all the best for that. And
Thank
you're going
you.
to turn Dr. Shweta Tendulkar probably in a week. So yeah,
Yeah.
and all the best for your future. Keep
Thank
being
you.
this
Okay,
wonderful
you'll meet
person you
me
are.
like later, right? Don't wish me best for my
Yeah,
future right away. Or
definitely. I'll go and
thank
wish
you
you
so
in
much for
person.
calling me on your show. I had fun. I was actually nervous about, the kind of blabber that we usually do outside.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Yeah.
yes, this is focused like right to the topic. I think, I hope. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I also had a lot of fun. I think all our viewers also had a lot of fun. And thank you so much, Shweta, for taking out time for this. And we'll
thank
meet
you,
soon.
Suparna. Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So that's our another episode of PhD where we heard the story of Shweta. So I would like to close with a song again. Hmm. मुसाफिर हूँ यारो ना घर है ना ठिकाना मुझे चलते जाना है बस चलते जाना तो हमें ऐसे ही चलते जाना है and thank you all for joining today and we'll be coming up with another episode next Sunday from Amog's page, so please do join his live and we will be sharing these videos on YouTube. We already have shared one from Amog's channel, so please watch it if you have missed our episode and share it with your friends and subscribe. So till then, stay safe, wear masks, and above all, stay happy. Bye.